We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Weekly Challenge 4, recreate Apollo. Jeb level, recreate the Apollo 11 mission. Fly to the moon, land a crew, and return that crew to Kerbin. So this is my recreation of the Saturn V rocket. I've got 5 mainsail engines to replace the F1s. I've got 5 vectors to replace the J2s, and then another ejector to replace the final J2. Try and keep this as accurate as we can to the Apollo 11 mission. So with the build of the rocket, we've made it as accurate as possible to designs and schematics we can find. The build's almost identical, there's a few things slightly different. The Earth orbit that we're going to orbit now is going to be as close as we can to the same, 185 over a 183 orbit. All of the stages worked pretty well. The first stage was very spinny, so required some manual handling as well as the SAS. The third stage had a lot of excess fuel. That was the single J2, single vector, that I didn't need quite as much fuel with. I could have taken it to the moon and used it to help myself slow down and do some maneuvers over there, but trying to keep it as accurate as possible, it was dumped just outside of the Earth, so that's what we've done. Now we're just making the burn to get into the SOI of the moon, the Mun. Now we can time warp until we get real close to the moon, and we can start a retrograde burn to get in orbit of the moon. Again, trying to keep it as accurate as possible. We're going to look for an orbit of somewhere from 100 to 122 around the moon, and then from that point we'll try and drop the lander, the LAM, and try and get that down onto the surface. So this bit was interesting. This is where the command module and the lander separate from the third stage, turn end over, and then dock with each other again. So this is not usually how I build a Kerbal rocket, so it was quite interesting to build it to the Apollo historical specs and try and get this done. There is our beautiful orbit of the moon. Now we can separate the command module and the LAM, the lunar lander, and try and get the lunar lander down onto the surface. Chosen Bob Kerman and Bobamy Kerman. I'm assuming they're related because they both have the surname Kerman and the first name Bob. one's Bob and me, one's Bob. It's pretty close.
Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
So this has to be the hardest part of the Apollo mission on here, which is the taking back off, getting to lunar orbit, and then having a rendezvous with the command capsule. It took me a few attempts to get it right, and it's the first time I've ever done a rendezvous around the Mun from starting on the Mun as well. So usually I just land on the Mun in a vehicle that can then get up and get home by itself. So there we have a successful rendezvous. All three Kerbals are back together again, and they can start to make their burns now to get back to Kerbin. So first we use up all the fuel in the lunar lander, in the LAM, and then we will undock, spin back around, and use the fuel inside the command module. Nothing left to do now but travel back to Kerbin and get down safely, which I can tell you is going to happen. So thank you for watching, and you can see the rest of this out for a little bit of extra at the end.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.